Rank 20, Enemy 0 272,000 copies. Released on 1996, December 13th, one of the horror titles by Warp, tells the heroine Laura to defend herself against aliens and finding her way through the maze-like corridors of the giant vessel. Consists of two genres: puzzle-solving adventure and shooter. When enter a room, the enemies can't attack, and you can explore it from first-person perspective, taking objects and solving puzzles. Rank 19, Decathlete 274,000 copies. Released on 1996, July 12th, the Sega's version of Decathlon, the most grueling of moody event sports consisting of Decathlon's events such as track and field with some changes from event to event. Featuring 8 athletes with different abilities and specialties, player must achieve the best scores possible in each event to get to the world's best results table. Rank 18, Panzer Dragoon Swaggy, 289,000 copies. Released on 1996, March 22nd, the second entry in the Panzer Dragoon series and a prequel to the original game. The story follows Lundi and his dragon companion, Lagi, as they pursue an airship of the ancient age. Rank 17, Street Fighter 0 291,000 copies. Released on 1996, January 26th, also known as Street Fighter Alpha outside Japan, introduces several new features, expanding on the Super Combo system previously featured in Super Street Fighter 2X. Graphics drawn in a similar art style to the one Capcom employed in Vampire or Darkstalker and X-Men Children of the Atom, set after the original Street Fighter but before Street Fighter 2, and thus the game features younger versions of established characters. Rank 16, J-League Pro Soccer Wotsuki Round 2, 309,000 copies. Released on 1997, November 20th, one of Pro Soccer Club Otsukuro series, a soccer club management simulation game published by Sega. It is commonly known as Sakatsuku. Player becomes the owner of a soccer club and responsible for managing the team, facilities, personnel, and player development. Combining elements of management simulation and player development simulation is the main feature of this game. Rank 15, Street Fighter 02, 309,000 copies. Released on 1996, September 14th, also known as Street Fighter Alpha 2, features a number of improvements over the original, such as new attacks, stages, endings, and gameplay features. Retains most of the new features introduced in the original Street Fighter 0, such as the 3-level Super Combo gauge, alpha counters, air blocking, and fall breaking. The main new feature in the game is the inclusion of the custom combo. Rank 14, Cyber Troopers Virtual on 323,000 copies. Released on 1996, November 29, a 3D fighting game that features mechas, known as Virtuoids, battling each other in various arenas. Each Virtuoid has unique weapons and abilities, and mastering their control and tactics is essential to success. The Sega Saturn version offered several game modes, including single-player, versus, and training modes. Rank 13, Nanamura Bio and no Hitobito 327,000 copies. Released on 1996, April 26. Originally an adult game and became the Alpha Sulky's first game to be ported to a home gaming console without modification from its original adult content. The Sega Saturn version had X-rated with minimal modifications. The game falls into the genre of mystery adventure games, where players take on the role of detective to solve various cases, have the option to try out all choices, but the CG will differ based on which attempt they select among the 3 choices provided. Rank 12, Vampire Hunter 340,000 copies. Released on 1996, February 23, also known as Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, the second game in the Vampire, or the Darkstalkers fighting game series, features several changes to the gameplay system of its predecessor. One of the changes is an introduction of the main combos, also introduces 2 new playable characters, Donovan Bane and Lele Orshienko. In addition, the 2 bosses from the first game are now playable. Rank 11, Sakura Taisen 359,000 copies. Released on 1996, September 27, a cross-genre video game created by OG Heroi, defined by Sega as a dramatic adventure game, combines overlapping tactical role-playing, dating sim, and visual novel gameplay elements. Set in a fictionalized version of 1923 in the Taishou era, the game follows the exploits of the Imperial Combat Review, a military unit dedicated to fighting supernatural threats against Tokyo while maintaining their cover as theater troupe. Rank 10, Fighting Vipers 364,000 copies. Released on 1996, August 30th, features a similar style of gameplay to Virtua Fighter series, especially Virtua Fighter 2, using simply guard, punch and kick attack button with a focus on combo moves. Each of the characters featured in the game wears armor that can be broken by opponents, leaving them more vulnerable to taking damage. The Saturn port added playback mode and training mode. Rank 9, Takamiki Memorial Forever with You 374,000 copies. Released on 1996, July 19. A dating sim game in which the player controls a male freshman from Kiramiki High School. The game is particularly notable for its bond feature. The gameplay focuses on scheduling, dating, and stat building, considered one of the major titles in the dating sim genre, and eschews the sexual content of other games in the genre. Rank 8, Neon Genesis Evangelion Second Impression 387,000 copies. Released on 1997, March 7, a sequel released about 1 year after the Precious title Neon Genesis Evangelion. Compared to the Precious game, this one emphasizes more on dating sim elements, focusing on Mayumi Yamagishi, Asuka, and Rei. The period between 15th and 16th episodes, where the elimination of the 11th angel took place, depicts the arrival of a transfer student named Mayumi Yatashi, the approach of new angels attacks, and the preparations for the school's cultural festival. Rank 7, Knights 392,000 copies. Released on 1996, July 5th, Developed by Sonic Team and concept originated during the development of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in 1992. Sonic creator and project director Oshima created the character of Knights based on Haas inspirations from traveling Europe and Western Asia. The story follows the teenagers Elliot Edwards and Clarice Sinclair, who enter Nightopia. They begin a journey to stop the evil ruler Wiseman from destroying Nightopia and consequently the real world. Rank 6. Super Robot Taisen F 464,000 copies. Released on 1997, September 25th. Known as partial remake of 4th Super Robot Taisen, the series Neon Genesis Evangelion makes its debut in this game. The storyline of the game continues in the sequel, Super Robot Taisen F Final. This work was developed in response to a request from Sega, which at the time held the game rights to Evangelion, asking for Super Robot Wars game for the Sega Saturn. Originally, it was planned to port 4th Super Robot Taisen S for Sega Saturn. Rank 5. Sakura Taisen 2 Kimi, Shinita Makoto Nacker 509,000 copies. Released on 1998, April 4th. The second installment in the main Sakura War series, defined as a dramatic adventure game, combines overlapping tactical RPG, dating sim and visual novel gameplay elements. Taking place 1 year after the events of the original Sakura Wars, the game follows the protagonists, Ichiro Agami, and the all-female flower divisions of the Imperial Combat Review as they fight against new supernatural entities in Tokyo. Rank 4. Super Robot Taisen F Final 464,000 copies. Released on 1998, April 23rd, the sequel of Super Robot Taisen F, and the two games together are a remake of the 4th Super Robot Taisen, which was divided between in 2 parts due to its large size. It is the final part of the classic timeline. The remake includes new content such as voice acting, most main pilots having several portraits expressing different emotions, having many differences compared to the original, such as the inclusion of Evangelion in the story. Rank 3. Fighters Megamix 528,000 copies. Released on 1996. December 21st, a crossover of the various 3D arcade blockbusters by Sega, from the complete cast of Virtua Fighter 2 and Fighting Vipers to Janet from Virtua Cop 2 and the Hornet Car from Daytona, USA. Intended as an introduction to Virtua Fighter 3, utilized the concept originally used by the King of Fighters, whereby characters and styles from different games were mixed together. Rank 2. Sega Rally Championship 598,000 copies. Released on 1995, December 29th. Originally released for arcade using Sega Model 2 board, before converted to Sega Saturn in 1995 and Windows in 1997. The unique selling point was the ability to drive on different surfaces, with different friction properties, with the car's handling changing accordingly. Rank 1. Virtua Fighter 2, 1,300,000 copies. Released on 1995, December 1st, sequel to Virtua Fighter and the second game in the Virtua Fighter series, was critically acclaimed for its gameplay and breakthrough graphics. Introduced the use of texture map 3D characters, and was one of the first video games to use motion capture animation technology, it becoming one of Sega's best-selling arcade games of all time before ported to Sega Saturn.